Welcome to Four Finger Discount. This week we are here to review episode 2 of season 16. It is episode FABF20. It is All's Fair in Oven War. I am Dando.
I am Guy, and indeed this episode was FAB. If there was an episode ever designed purely to cater to Guy's interests, this was it.
Now, I read some scathing reviews of this episode, and including some of our patrons, including you, Nick Barbaro. I know you'll be watching for this. He says that this episode really made him angry. I watched this and went, this is delightful. I liked it. I really enjoyed this.
Nick, we're going to have a talk.
I know. I thought, we got into season 16, everyone goes, this is it. This is the cliff. It's where it all falls off. I watched this going, hey, if we can remain like this, I'm all for it. This was fun.
I was about to say, if this is the cliff, then we're like the Roadrunner or one of those cartoon characters that runs off a cliff and just keeps going. Because we were like, this is great.
Yeah.
No problem.
This was so good. I really liked the B plot with Bart and Milhouse running their own Playdude Treehouse. I thought it was great.
As I said, look, so much enjoyable stuff in this episode, stuff that is really just very up Guy's alley, but just a generally solid episode. Look, I'm not going to say it's a bona fide classic or anything like that, but it was really, really solid, quite funny. Terrific.
James Caan was hilarious.
Terrific guest spot by our boy Jimmy C, the late Jimmy C. Also, some great musical cues as well. Some great soundtrack cuts. You know, that once again they've opened up the wallet and said, "Hey, let's get some cool tunes in here," which they did.
And anything based around food, I always enjoyed the food episodes. Remember when Homer was the food critic? That was really fun as well. Yeah, I loved this. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I got to the end and went, "It was good. Well done."
Yeah, you give it a little.
Well done, Matt Salmon, the writer of this episode.
Props to that person. Props to all involved. Let's say no. Look, this was great fun. I had a great time with it.
Yes. Now, speaking of good times, it's back, everybody. It is back by popular demand. It hasn't been around since Guy's been doing the show since season 10. It is the official return of the My 2 Cents segment here on Four Finger Discount, where we discuss the moments in life where we've been an absolute tight ass. And kicking off this week, hang on, we've got someone walking the door. Oh, Holly wants to come say nice. Come in then, Holly.
Oh, it's a bit hectic.
You better come in. Hurry up. We're filming. We're doing video. Holly's crying. This is what it's like. This is what life is like now in the Dano household, guys. 5 minutes into recording, we've got a screaming baby.
Meanwhile, here's at the Davis household.
Nice.
Take it easy.
Nice.
Say hi. Say
Look at
bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Can you say
Look at
bye-bye?
these gorgeous people.
Who's that? Bye-bye.
We're all waving. You can't see anything, but we're all waving. Holly's here. I'll chuck the video up on the
Sorry,
YouTube channel so you can check it out.
Everybody.
Feel
Nicholas
better, everyone.
interrupting. Yes. Guy says feel better, everybody.
Thank you.
Nicholas says thank you. All right, so yes, as what we were discussing, the return of the My 2 Cents story. So what we do is we discuss a moment in life where we've been an absolute tight ass. And kicking off this week, the big return, it is Guy discussing a moment in life when he was a tight ass. And it's funny because I mentioned it to him before, but just as we were about to record, don't forget you got your My 2 Cents story when you're a tight ass. And he goes, I can't really think of one. And I'm like, Guy, you're just too great of a human being. You got tight ass stories.
I live to give, as they say. I think I'm a bit terrified of being regarded as a tight ass, although I like to think of myself as a frugal human being, a great white bargain hunter, you might say.
No, the bigger the tight ass, the better here on Four Finger Discount. We love it here.
Well, look, I will aim to be more of a tight ass going forward and get myself into tight ass spots.
Yes.
But I do have. It's not much of a story for the My 2 Cents.
Sell it to us. Jesus Christ, man.
No. This is how it works. You lower expectations and you hit them with BAM!
Yeah. The old tight ass in the eye.
Only. you lower expectations and you hit them with just above lowered expectations.
Yes. All right, so that's going to be coming up later in the show. Also, got to let you guys know, and patrons will be well aware, every month we do Guy on Springfield. We actually just gave it the name last week. So the Four Finger Discount Revisited Classic show we do exclusively on Patreon is now called Guy on Springfield, where we go back, Guy and myself, and revisit a classic episode from the golden era, and patrons of the show get to vote on which episodes we're doing. And this month, the 4 options are Homer Alone, Bart's Inner Child, Radioactive Man, and Trash of the Titans. And it seems no one's interested in seeing Bart's Inner Child. It's only received 4% of the votes.
Is Bart's Inner Child the one with Rudiger?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
I really want to talk about that one. I love that.
Well, we'll check that one up in a future poll. We've also got Trash of the Titans, when Homer is the garbage man. That's on 21%. But the top two, there's only 1% deciding between them. So we've got Homer Alone and Radioactive Man. Radioactive Man on 37% and Homer Alone on 36%. So that is very, very close. But it's only 1 day left to vote, and we will take that poll down and we will review the episode at either Homer Alone or Radioactive Man exclusively for our patrons. You can find that at patreon.com/4fingerdiscount, as well as all the other classic episodes we've already gone back and revisited, which includes, what did we do? We did Marge on the Lamb. But we've done But vs Australia, I believe. Homie the Clown was another one we did. I Love Lisa was another one. So many classic episodes. Bart on the Road was another recent one we did. Go back, and it's always so great to go back. I remember our review of Homer the Vigilante was just us laughing the entire time.
Very much so. So look, it's a very tight race.
Yeah.
Leading up to this upcoming, I would say it's an inaugural episode of Guy on Springfield.
Yes.
Previously, it's gone by other titles, but we finally decided a name. So, but it's a very tight race. Only 1 point between them. So, as Homer says in this episode, pick one, jerks.
We've got tight races, tight asses, and tight scripts here in All's Fair and Oven War.
We're keeping it tight.
We're keeping it tight. So, yeah, as I was saying, I really, really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the mix of the stories. I thought none of them really took away from the other. They just blended really well.
They did, actually, yeah. They ran along parallel lines. They didn't really intersect all that much.
No, and Homer, it wasn't really about Homer or any of them. It was just Homer was just kind of there. Homer was there at the start, but I think the less of Homer we get lately, the better. That's what I'm finding with the current episodes.
I do agree with you on this point, Dan. All of his boneheaded construction stuff was, okay. that may be the one slight letdown of the episode, and even that wasn't that bad. It was
to me but it felt like Tracy Ullman's short Homer. It felt like vintage Homer doing the being a doofus is Homer, but like when it comes to construction, he's always been like that. And as a lifelong fan, that's the kind of Homer that I grew up with, so I didn't mind it. It wasn't the greatest, but it didn't offend me or anything.
No, me neither. I wasn't offended by it at all. But it's like, okay, yeah, this is most of this episode I found enjoyable and well crafted and all that kind of stuff, and that part was just like, okay, this is this. I didn't hate it, but it was like it's filler. Yep.
I also really enjoyed the innocence of the kids and how they had no idea what they were actually doing. And in some of the reviews I read, they go, "Oh yeah, so Bart's 10 and he's apparently talking about getting some." I'm like, but he didn't know what it meant.
Yeah. What did he say? What did he say was toys?
Yeah, he goes, I don't know, toys. I love the innocence of that, because when you're a kid, you go past the adult section in the video store, you're like, I know that's naughty, but I don't really know why yet.
Yeah, and I think even as a child, you have an innate ability to sort of put the brakes on. Mm-hmm. You sort of realize, maybe not for me just yet. You know, I'm flattered. Maybe I'm a little curious, but the answer is no. So, yeah, I think this episode was very accurate in the way kids will sort of take baby steps towards adulthood, and sometimes, you know, they'll take one baby step too far. I thought this did a really good version. Was a really good version of that in terms of like, don't try to grow up too fast.
Yes, yeah. I really enjoyed that as well. So what were your favourite moments from All's Fair and Oven War?
I liked quite a lot of this episode, I've got to say, Dando. I've got to say, you've mentioned this character's name.
Yep.
And I've forgotten it already, but he's the guy who says the chicken wings are going straight to his thighs.
Oh, Mr. Largo.
Largo, that's
yes.
it. I was like, Logan?
I say, bon voyage.
I was like, is it Lance? Is it Logan? It's Mr. Largo.
Yes.
I like him a lot, and I liked his, because that's the way I feel about chicken wings. Straight to my thighs, but bon voyage. And now everyone sounds like John Lovitz.
He's very John Lovitz, isn't he? That's why he's so great.
He is a bit. And look, I much prefer him to Sideshow Mel when it comes to chiming in on things like that. And then we get a bit of Sideshow Mel as well, which wasn't that bad. But yes, I'm a big fan of Largo, and I like that he did that. Long listeners of the show will realise that I've just got a big crush on Agnes. So I'd love to...
Full of urine!
Yeah. His bladder's full of urine. But I like it when she has rags on people and just going and tearing strips of Marge. You're weak! Weak!
I love that. Are you putting your hair in my mixing bowl? Just the hair's just in the mixing bowl.
So I enjoyed that very much. I know I mentioned it before about Homer and how we think maybe a little Homer goes a long way in season 16. We say 2 episodes in. But I really got a kick out of his Don Rickles style insult to Milhouse. It's Milhouse. Yeah, well, your father's no house. Oh, sorry, that's great.
And then, but I like that he followed up with, "Maybe you went a little hard on him." At least he acknowledged it.
Indeed. And look, there was probably my favourite visual gag from this, and this was a really well-directed episode as well. It had it was very visually strong. Just the kids spreading the facts of life exponentially throughout the neighbourhood, like...
It's really good.
Bart Milhouse, and then whoever else, and everyone's just, So, yeah, I thought that was great.
I loved Homer when he's like, "Oh, it's better to hear it from me now than from their parents when they're old enough."
Look, there are a few other things, but I think I'd like to talk about those as we go throughout the episode. But Dando, what did you enjoy?
Well, most of those moments as well, but I also liked Marge's use of bosom rags to describe Playdudes.
Oh, that's
as well as Ralph's grilled crown sandwich and forcing Wiggum to eat it. Because I'm just like, it was so relatable. Like when your kids, you're just like, fuck, whatever, fine, I'll eat it. Can you taste the thumbtacks? Crap.
Crap.
Like I can imagine Elliot going, "Can you taste the dog shit?"
Have the kids been into the kitchen yet? Have they ever sort of prepared anything? I made it for you, Daddy.
No, well, they've helped us cook things, but they've never made something themselves. I don't trust them. Not there yet. No. But one last thing that I really enjoyed was Homer meeting the food personalities.
And I know they weren't using the actual names, but him literally squeezing the life out of the Twinkie.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, it is time for some trivia. But before we do that, what do we do, Mr. Davis? We always read out our beloved $20 patrons and we give them a shout out.
Roll call. And we also will give at least one of them a nickname.
It's up to you. I'm going to choose the patron, the $20 patron of the week, and you're going to give them on the spot a new name. We're going to see how good you are. Are you ready?
No pressure.
The $20 patron of the week goes to Zach Pruitt. Now, keep in mind, he is the man who hosts his own community podcast.
Oh.
So, Zach Pruitt, go for it. He's our patron of the week. What name have you got for him?
Other than just do it to it, Zach Pruitt?
Do it to it, Zach Pruitt. I like it. Do it to it, Zach Pruitt, the $20 patron of the week. Thank you so much.
And
let's
go. And Zach, by all means, if you've got ears to do so, check out his community podcast.
It is called You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
You Can't Disappoint a Podcast, as opposed to Full Finger Discount, which disappoints on the regular.
Every single week. Also, shout outs to
Clark Whack,
Christopher Trent Darby, Andrew Zer, Jordan Molman Ritchie, Steamed Ham Champion Dylan Haggett, Sally Kimberly, Hank Scorpio, Kevin Dental Plan Flood, Jonathan Rossi, Zach Pruitt, as we just said. 2 mentions, two readouts.
There you go.
Yeah. Timothy Burleson, Joel Yolande, Katie G, Daniel Kotnick, Shannon Hofer, Jenna Rice, Reese Roberts, Adam Sanderson, George McMenemy, Stephen Roberts, Sean Deavy, Bella Winderbank, David Stewart, Tom Pickering, Mark Boston Burgess, Groundskeeper Noah, and Declan Phoenix. Thank you guys for your ongoing support by being $20 Four Finger Discount patrons. All right, Mr. Davis, it is now time for some trivia for All's Fair in Oven War. You kick off this week.
Oh, fine, I'll go right ahead. Mm-hmm. We see one cover of Playdude more than almost any other. Do you remember the girls of which college are featured?
Is it Kent?
You're half right.
Kent University?
Kent
State?
Yeah, you got it.
I'll take half a point.
Okay.
Apparently there's a play on words with the subtitle of that as well.
Something about Ohio, 4-0 in Ohio or something.
It's lost on me. Maybe if you're local, if you're American, you might get it. I'm not too sure.
Any of our Ohio buddies, please let us know.
Let us know, yes. My first question is, Black Dracula is a congressman where?
North Carolina?
Virginia. You kind of got it.
It's a state in America.
What's your next question?
What is the name of the contractor company hired to do the kitchen?
I knew you were going to pick this, and I didn't write it down. What was it?
It's J&J Construction.
J&J Construction. They're not even trying with the names anymore. that would 100%.
That would have been a
season
visual
6
gag
been a
at some stage, wouldn't it? Yeah.
My next question is, what book is Thomas Pynchon going to put Marge's recipe in?
The Gravity's Rainbow Cookbook.
Correct. Well done.
Yeah, by the way, I love that Pynchon was back. Just for someone who is notably reclusive, just being a shameless self-promoter of his own work.
And
Good on
he
him.
apparently wrote his own jokes or helped write his own jokes, and he refused to put down Homer.
I'd heard that. Yeah, he respected Homer too much to disrespect him.
Yep, there you go. All right, what's your final question?
It's not even my final question. I've got so many for you.
Oh, my.
What is the name of the Oven Fresh mascot?
It's Billy something, isn't it? Billy. I can't say the word. I can't say the word.
What do you put in to make soup with it?
Yeah, I don't know how to say the word. What is it?
Bouillon.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Clearly, I don't eat them.
You're not meant to eat them.
I know what. I'm thinking of croutons.
Yes. Croutons you eat. Bouillon cubes. Maybe there are people out there who eat bouillon cubes. The Ralph Wiggums of the world, I think, eat them. That's too much flavour.
I liked that moment where he's like, "Don't look at my human eyes." My final question is, when they were opening up the Oven Fresh Bake Off, they had a previous Auntie Oven Fresh, whatever the name of it. Which year was she from?
Oh, man.
It was 2 years before the original Melbourne Olympics. There you go.
So 1954.
Correct. Well done.
I do know my Olympics.
I do know my Olympics.
I've got to stop doing that. All right. One last question for you.
Yes.
On what dollar amount per week does Marge feed a family of 5?
That would be $12 per week. She puts, I think, sawdust in the meatloaf.
Sawdust in the burgers or the meatloaf? Yeah.
Something along those lines, yes. So there you go. That is trivia for All's Fair in Oven War. It's been a hell of a good time. It's now time for us to take a short break, but when we return, we'll have our full in-depth review.
Oh, yeah.
The original air date of All's Fair in Oven War was November 14th, 2004. It was written by Matt Selman, as we discussed earlier, and directed by Mark Kirkland. There was no chalkboard gag, but the couch gag was where the couch is seen outside in just like a clear open space, and it's on a catapult, and it shoots the Simpsons family miles and miles and miles away, much like the cat in the Beer Baron episode. What was it called? Homer versus the 18th Amendment? 18th Amendment, that's the one, yes.
That's correct.
That's the one.
By the way, if one wanted to be fancy, you could actually refer to that catapult as a trebuchet.
Why would we do that? Is that what they're actually called?
I think the French invented it, and the original name was a trebuchet.
Oh, there you go. Catapult's way more fun to say.
It kind of is.
Catapult.
Catapult.
Prepare
Trebuchet.
the catapult. Catapult.
Prepare le trebuchet. No,
Yeah,
no.
that's pretty fancy.
Yeah, it's a bit too fancy.
Yeah, it is too fancy. I don't like it. Anyway, the episode kicks off with the family watching what, Mr. Davis? Can you remember?
It was Blackula versus Black Dracula?
I think it's Blackula meets Black Dracula.
Or meets Black Dracula. Okay.
Yeah, because they're friends.
Well,
I think you mean a honky rink.
There was an actual Blackula movie.
Was there? Okay.
There was not a Black Dracula movie.
Okay.
Because Blackula and Dracula.
The same thing?
Black
Yes.
is Dracula.
Yeah.
Black plus Dracula equals Blackula. That's what I'm saying. By the way, they're pretty good movies. Blackula and Scream, Blackula Scream.
Has it got your favourite actress in it?
Pam Grier?
No, the one... Yeah, that's her, yes.
Pam Grier was in Scream, Blackula Scream.
I knew she would be.
But the guy playing Blackula is a... Sorry to get all nerdy on you. Is a guy named William
Mate,
Marshall.
you're listening to a podcast discussing season 16 of The Simpsons. I'm pretty sure we're all nerdy here.
He was like this Shakespearean actor named William Marshall. And, you know, it's a film called Blackula. You expect it's going to be a bit sort of, don't know about this. This guy's really going for it. He's like Morgan Freeman. He's just got this incredible, lovely, rich voice. And he's got this beautiful accent. Like, my name is Blackula.
Does he say it like that? Like he wants to bust out a move?
He really does.
Blackula.
It's also got really funky theme music.
Awesome. Is it like Heat Wave style?
A little bit, yeah. It's like 70s blaxploitation music.
Yeah.
Once again, listeners, we're going to go back to that thing where I promised to put a whole lot of stuff up on the patrons page about, here's a link to this. But there's so much good stuff in this episode that I might have to, once again, make promises that I'll never keep. But,
So what was it? Scream Blackula, was it?
Well, there's Blackula, and then there's Scream, Blackula, Scream, the sequel.
Scream, Blackula, Scream. Okay, cool. I have to check them out. Yeah, maybe. Well, obviously, these would have been a takeoff of that, or an homage to that, I should say. But yeah.
Certainly. Well, I think the Blackula animated one is very much like the real Blackula. If you know what I mean. Not the real Blackula.
Bart then enters with some cookies and some business cards that he got from the open house next door. Now, the first thing I thought was, what happened to the family that lived next door, Laura Powers and Ruth? They're gone.
Oh, yeah.
They were the next door neighbours.
Because I must admit, there are gaps in my Simpsons knowledge. I'm like, I know that the Flanders live next door.
Well, they live on the other side, the
But
Flanders.
who's on the other side?
Because you had the old couple. Remember the old couple that was sitting at the front and he's like, looks like old Simpson's going to kill himself. And then they laugh at him.
That's right. Yeah.
But Bart throws the business cards at him, whatever. And then Homer's and Marge go to have a look-see. It's one of those things when there's an open house nearby, you feel the urge to go check it out. It's like, I've walked past and driven past that house so many times. I'd love to see what's behind that front door.
That's
and
true.
as much as I just want to compare my lifestyle to the other neighbours. That's the only reason we do it. But Homer says, I don't want to buy this house because I don't want to live next door to myself. And then Marge is absolutely amazed by the kitchen that's inside. They've got a Sub-Zero fridge, a bread maker, and as well as a walk-in microwave. And
Indeed.
Homer's going to make some.
By the way, before we get to that, Homer is actually imagining living next door to himself, and it's not pretty.
No, that's what I was saying. He doesn't live next door to himself because he's too noisy, so he smacks himself over the head with a bat or something.
Indeed, yeah. And well, Homer is one of the Homers has been a jerk and playing Journey too loud. It's Separate Ways by Journey. Someday love will find you.
Journey's
Break
great.
those chains that bind you. Oh, I better not do that too loud because I think one of our listeners was listening to the podcast on the train, and I did a Roseanne impersonation. They said, "Ah!"
You blew my ears out when I edited it. I thought I toned it down enough. Clearly I didn't.
Sorry about that, folks. No more singing, unless of course you'd like to hear more singing.
Yeah. I'd love to hear your rendition of Don't Stop Believing at some point. Maybe get a few beers into you. But, yeah, as Homer's in the walk-in microwave cooking some popcorn and his hair catches on fire. Back at the Simpsons house and the kitchen is just falling apart around Marge.
Even Marge is falling apart around Marge.
Yeah. Marge says, look, Homer, I knew we wouldn't be living in luxury when I married you. Homer's like, and I kept that vow. But she wants a new kitchen. And Homer says, look, you're not going to buy one. I'm going to build one. She's like, look, I know the sentiment's there. I appreciate that, but we should probably hire a contractor. And he's just, I love his theory. They're crooks. They charge for materials and labor. Pick one.
Pick one, jerks.
Yeah. So Homer attempts to build the kitchen. And as this was discussing earlier, you weren't a huge fan, but it just felt like classic old school.
Yeah.
It's almost like Kramer-esque comedy, this, isn't it?
A nice bit of physical comedy.
Yeah. But just more dumbed down than what Kramer would be. But yeah, he gets the hammer into the power point, shoots himself back into the fridge, tries it again. Marge says, turn the power off, so he goes to do that. And after that, she finds the Playdudes in the roof.
Stop demolishing stuff along the way.
Yeah. I mean, if you were just in a house with a hammer allowed to demolish stuff, it would be so fun. Imagine just smashing down some walls.
Have you ever been to one of those demolition rooms? Or
No, but it looks amazing.
It does look like fun.
Yeah, it certainly does.
And I imagine doing a podcast with me on the regular would be frustrating enough for you to go in and just vent.
Fucking guy.
Smash.
Son of a bitch. Is that what Quint says in Jaws? Son of a bitch. Isn't that one of his lines?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Probably.
It does sound very Quint.
But Marge finds Homer's Playdudes. Are you hiding them from me? Well, I was trying to. Have you ever hidden something from a spouse? I don't think I have. I've never hidden something from somebody. I've hidden something from my parents. I mean, I definitely owned a dirty magazine at some point. It might have even been dirty. It might have been like a zoo magazine that had like some raunchy bikini photos or something.
Probably something like that.
13-year-old me was like, "Oh, you can see her nipples through the bra. Better hide this." But Marge says she's going to cut out all the naked ladies because Homer tells a fib, a big white lie, a little white lie, and says he only wants them for the articles. That's not the truth.
I must correct you, Dano. She is going to cut out all the erotic nudes.
Erotic nudes. Okay, yeah, I like to play with, like I said, the bosom rags. It's very well written, this episode by Matt Sullivan.
And it struck me as it's a very Marge turn of phrase. Erotic nudes.
You know what it reminds me of? The show that got me through my my youth, Erotic Tales.
Ooh.
Erotic Tales on SBS.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, that's happening.
I just remember there was, because they were from all over the world, right? But there was one Australian one.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Okay.
Yeah. And it featured, I feel really gross saying this because I doubt she's listening to it, but it featured Claudia Carvin from The Secret Life of Us.
I know her by face, but by name, yeah.
Yeah. A well-renowned Australian actress.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, she takes her shirt off in it.
I will never forget watching Erotic Tales on SBS. I think it was after like South Park or whatever. It was on late at night. I remember having it turned down, but then like Mum walked in as I was watching it, and instead of hitting the volume turn down, I hit the volume turn up button. I'll never forget this. Just as a guy was saying to the girl, "Move your ass around a bit. It's like fucking a zombie." That's what happened on the TV when my mum walked in. That was an awkward situation.
And then she explained the facts of life to you.
Yes, that's exactly right. But anyway, getting back to All's Fair in Oven War. How do we get to that? Oh yeah, erotic nudes.
Erotic nudes.
Yeah, so she goes and she cuts them out and returns them, and Homer's just absolutely shattered. He doesn't want to do it anymore, so he throws them in the bin.
What man would want you now?
Yeah. It cuts to Bart and Milhouse finding them, and let the blossoming of Milhouse begin. But they don't understand any of it at all, do they? They don't, because it's only the articles. They're like, what's going on here? It's actually a really clever way of getting this story off the ground, because you can't just have Bart and Milhouse, 10-year-olds, reading dirty magazines.
No.
But the fact that Marge cuts it out first, I was like, that's well played, Matt Salmon. Well played.
Yeah, and they're old school Playdudes, which clearly a riff on Playboy, and Playboy in its sort of heyday really viewed itself as an upmarket men's magazine, like Esquire or Gentleman's Quarterly or something. It had, I think the Simpsons has talked about, has talked about this, about its tips on high-end stereo equipment or how to make the perfect martini and all this kind of stuff. So it makes sense that once you get rid of the naked ladies, the erotic nudes, it would be full of stuff that's for the modern man.
Yeah. Is there anything close to like upper porn these days? Because is Playboy still printed, or is it just online?
I think it's just online now.
Okay.
And it went through a phase where it's like, I won't say it got woke, but it was like, we're not going to be about, the objectification of women anymore. If we're going to have women in it, we might have good-looking ladies, but they'll probably be in swimsuits or something like that. And I think everyone was just like, we can get that anywhere.
I've never in my life owned a Playboy. Have you?
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Dan,
I need to know how to set up my hi-fi system. So
I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, and pre-internet, if you wanted to look at naked ladies, which as a red-blooded heterosexual male I wanted to do on occasion, paternally horny, it's like, I'm 18 years old and I'll have this copy of Playboy, please. And honestly, it actually did have really good art. I remember their film critic was actually...
Keep justifying.
No, their film critic was really good.
Was he? Okay, cool. Yeah. Was that like a lifelong dream of yours to be the film critic of Playboy?
It would have been a nice side hustle, absolutely.
It would have been, yeah, it would have been.
But I owned a bunch of Playboys at some stage. I don't know where they are now. I've probably just pegged them, probably just threw them out.
Speaking of side hustles, Bart's going to turn his treehouse into a Playboy Mansion-esque room where he's going to have lots of orgies, whatever they are.
By the way, something I liked, they opened it up and they could sort of see...
the cutout, yeah.
The cutout. You see the cutout of the nudes.
Erotic nudes, yes.
But the artwork of like the Playboy Grotto or the Man's Den or whatever, it was very much like the artwork by an artist that I like who goes by the pen name Shag, appropriately enough. Mm-hmm. I've got a few of his prints here at my house. I mean, I'm a big fan of pop art, and I'll put a couple of pictures up on the Facebook group.
When I see rooms like this, though, I just immediately think of you. I feel like that's like your ideal house.
It would be great, if I had the means and the wherewithal, I'd be like, this would be a nice way to live. But then looking at a few prior to this episode, and it's funny because we're going to record an episode of South Park.
That my anus.
Yeah, an episode of Going Down to South Park. Yeah, the first episode of season 2, which is all Canada all the time, and a lot of the Shag faces look very Canadian. They're very, hey, buddy. So,
How great, by the way, is that meme I sent you today, the Spider-Man toy?
that is very good. You broke my Spider-Man, buddy. You broke Uncle Ben. We'll put that up there as well.
Yes.
But yes, big fan of that early Playboy lifestyle when it was about, gentlemen, we know you like looking at ladies who maybe aren't wearing their clothes, but, you're a bit more sophisticated than that too. You'd like to know how to cook the perfect risotto for that, that special partner. Or
If you're looking for a layover, here's how.
I think they mentioned like the author John Cheever or someone like that. I mean, yeah, it's what's the guy who wrote the episode again?
Matt Salmon.
Matt Salmon. Yeah, look, I'll bet
Who's still a producer on the show. We've interviewed him a couple of times. Yeah, great dude.
Let's get him on the line because I bet dollars to donuts that he had like a bunch of just vintage Playboys.
I went back and re-listened to my interview with Matt Salmon about 6 months ago, and I was like, Matt and Guy would have a good old chin wag. I feel like you guys are on the same wavelength.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Because he was talking about his love of, and forgive me, and he actually pointed out that not many people in my generation know him. He's the guy that played Phoebe's partner, Gary the cop, on Friends.
Oh, that's Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, there you go. That's the guy. Yes.
Yeah, he's from True Romance and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you and Matt could literally talk for half an hour about that guy.
All right, well let's get Matt on the line at some stage.
Yeah, I'll tweet him tonight. See if we'll organise it.
Well, yeah, tell him he's got a big fan in Herne Hill, Geelong, because I appreciate a lot of the shout outs he did in this episode.
Yes, alrighty. But so Homer has now plastered the ceiling far too low. So Marge says it's time to call the contractor. And I am so Homer in this. I am terrible. And when Marge says, when Nicholas says, I've called in the guy, I'm like, oh, now I don't feel like a man anymore.
I think this is a very common man thing, though.
Yeah.
Anytime it's because I am not handy.
No, neither. I can't even fucking put a floating shelf in.
I actually bought floating shelves from Temple and Webster, our friends at Temple and Webster. I love referring to everyone as our friends.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll become our friends.
Yes.
But these are floating shelves. I thought, I'm going to put these up in the bedroom, this way up the wall, and just put a few books on there. It's gonna add that little je ne sais quoi to the room. It's going to be really nice. It'll be, Playdude style. Still in the box. Haven't taken them out.
But you rest your cups on them now.
And also, I bought like a fan from Bunnings. And I remember the days when you used to buy a fan from Bunnings and it was already assembled. This one you got to assemble. I'm like, what the fuck?
Got to assemble. No, $20 Kmart fan, pre-assembled. It's the way to go.
Yeah, but it's too late because I've already taken it out of the box and I can't put it back in. So at some stage, I'm either going to have to get on YouTube and like, how do you assemble a Bunnings fan? Or...
and the results are how to get your life in order.
I'll get the lovely Louise to do it because she's actually pretty good at that kind of thing.
Yeah, you've told me that. That's good. Yeah. All right. But anyway, Homer's not impressed at all that Marge is calling the contractor because many husbands feel emasculated when their wife turns to a professional to satisfy their remodeling needs. I'm like, Homer, why don't you kiss her? Go away, you crook.
Just like, I'm gay.
Yeah. And then we got that really weird kisser guy. I was like, whatever, that didn't really...
Yeah, that bit was weird. But I mean, I love the first J and J Construction. I'm gay, but I have someone to subcontract for that.
So it says I'll be done in 3 weeks. 2 years later, the kitchen's finished.
That was funny. I like the 2 years later.
The only thing about that gag is that it throws the time of the B story out.
It does.
Yeah, but whatever. It doesn't matter. The kitchen is now incredible. And I've got here, Nicola, she's always wanted a bigger kitchen. Like the kitchen in our house is, if you're going to build a new house, make sure you get a good kitchen.
Go buck wild with the kitchen. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're going to spend a lot of your time in there, and the bigger the kitchen, the better the food. I don't know why that is, but the more room you have, the more freedom. You're ready to go.
Yeah, and you can put a little music on and have a little dance
Where my
around
baby.
as you cook. I don't think we'd be doing Peter Allen.
I don't know why they get it. You look like you were shaking maracas, so I'm just like...
No, that was just doing a bit of a groove.
Oh, the jiggle. Okay, yeah. But Homer points out that the kitchen cost $100,000. And Marge says, well, how about I just cook some chicken wings? That's good. I'll take that. Yep, good. So we're now at the church potluck. I don't know what this is. It's just like a church fair or something, is it?
Pretty much. Potluck dinner is just... You know what a potluck dinner is, right?
No, I don't actually, no.
Oh, it's ladies bring a plate essentially. That's the Australian version.
Just like a morning tea where everyone brings a plate of food.
Everyone brings a plate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, essentially. But I did like that the church had the little logo up. What a friend we have in cheese puffs.
Yes, exactly right. Or cheesy puffs.
Cheese puffs.
As Cutman would say.
Yeah, my cheese puffs.
Everyone's annoyed though because it's just always the same old thing here until they come across Marge's wasabi buffalo wings and they're an absolute hit.
I'm wondering how good these would be.
Buffalo sauce. I don't eat wings. So
Nor do I really.
But what's buffalo sauce? That's more spicier, right?
It's pretty hot. And then wasabi is super spicy as well.
Not a fan. I'm not a fan of hot shit. No, Nicola ordered Indian like 2 weeks ago and she forgot to tell him to do it mild. I was like, my tongue. But I had to eat it though because Nicola was eating. I'm like, I need to feel like a real man.
I'll try to phrase the story as delicately as possible. But there's a very nice bakery in Geelong that lovely Louise and I will duck out on a Saturday morning, go down to, let's name it, Born and Bred off Paco.
Our friends are Born and Bred.
Our friends are Born and Bred, who do this. Well, they were doing it for a while, then they stopped, but now they brought it back. It's the jalapeno scone.
Oh, ring stinger.
And that's the term that the lovely Louise used. And it's like, these are really great, but yeah, a bit of a ring stinger.
There used to be a pizza at Pizzas of Attitude. Our friends at Pizzas of Attitude. And they might even still have it. It's called the ring stinger.
I had pizza with Attitude the other night. So good.
Yeah. Serious attitude.
This pizza's got serious attitude.
But yeah, anyway, so Marge's buffalo wings. They're an absolute hit. They're an Eastern twist on a Western New York favourite. And then we get there, as you were discussing earlier, going straight to my thighs.
Bon voyage.
Now at the Quickie Mart, and Flanders praises Marge's cooking. He says he was going to enter the Oven Fresh Bake Off, but he wouldn't have a Hindu's chance in heaven if he entered against Marge. I was like, ooh. Then she says that I want to enter because I'll become the new face of Auntie Oven Fresh. I'll be famous. And Putin discusses that he's also got a dream. His dream was once coming to America and starting a family, and his new dream is ditching his family and sneaking back to India as Steve Barnes.
Steve Barnes, yes. I wonder if that's a combo of Captain America's Steve Rogers and the Winter Soldier's Bucky Barnes.
Hey, we'll have to ask Matt when we interview him.
Ask our friend Matt.
Friend Matt Selman. I wonder if we started the interview by saying, we're here with our friend Matt Selman. You go, I ain't your friend, mate.
Say what now?
You said there'd be no friendships. But we also got a little payoff later on with the Apu wanting to leave India. Leave for India with the it's like father of 8 disappears or something.
Yes, yeah, but and then Homer's reading the paper with what Steve Barnes something.
Yeah, something on those lines.
Convenience store. Yeah.
But Bart and Milhouse are now listening to Miles Davis, and I was like, man, this is Guy's kind of thing.
Yeah.
When do they start singing? No need for singing in Miles Davis. No singing,
Absolutely
no words.
not. By the way, this track is called Boplicity. It is from the seminal Miles Davis album Birth of the Cool, although it is also featured on the Essentials Miles Davis, a very nice primer if you want to get into one of the great jazz musicians of all time.
Whenever I hear Miles Davis, you ain't cool unless you pee your pants.
Well,
Peeing your pants is cool and call me Miles Davis.
He's also the patron saint of pants pissing.
Yes.
I'm feeling the ghost of Miles Davis reaching down. You honky motherfucker.
Honky.
No, Miles Davis is apparently not a gentleman to be trifled with.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh no, just ill-tempered.
Hey, when you're that good, you can be ill-tempered.
Very much so. But I remember hearing some story. I'm trying to remember if I heard this in
First of all, is it true?
That's the thing. I'm trying to remember if I heard this in the movie Collateral or I heard it somewhere else. But apparently, like some
you watch movies so often now you can't tell real life from film.
That is correct. I've fucked it all up.
Yeah.
I can't remember if this is in Collateral or I heard it somewhere else, but like some very nice white couple were out to broaden their horizons. This is some jazz. And, you know, the young man, this is in like the 50s or something. And the young man went up to Miles Davis and said, I just wanted to congratulate you on your... You motherfucker, you get the fuck away from me, take your bitch too. It's like, no worries,
yes,
Mr. Davis. Yeah, so apparently, yes, didn't suffer fools gladly, or anyone gladly for that matter.
Humble man, Miles Davis, by the sounds of it.
Indeed.
Humble
but,
man.
you know, if you... you make Kinda Blue, I think you can do pretty much anything you want for the rest of your life.
Then Marge presents her entry, and it is dessert dogs, deep fried cookie dough with meringue buns, cherry ketchup, and caramel mustard.
Is it just me, or does that look A-OK?
Yes. And I can't believe they put it down later. I was like, you son of a bitch. It sounds delicious. But as Bart says, it's a dessert, but it's hot dogs, so it's good for you. Do you ever justify junk food so you can eat it? You're like, oh, well, it's got some lettuce in there somewhere, so it's okay.
I think I've gone beyond that stage.
It's an apple pie, if I'll have you.
I'm not getting the creme brulee pie tonight. I'm getting the apple pie.
They're not that great. I had one as well. Not great. They're fine, but meh.
The apple pie is back.
Yes, the apple pie is much better. But then Homer tries it. Marge, I don't want to alarm you, but I think I love you. And she sends the recipe away, gets the letter back, and she has been accepted. They did the old bait and switch first, though. Like, screw them. You're in. Then Ralph doesn't get accepted, but he makes Chief Wiggum eat his grilled crayon how do you say crayon sandwich? I always say crayon sandwich.
You're like an American referring to caramel as caramel.
Caramel, yeah. But yeah, I just found this very relatable. Pretending to bite it. You had to pretend bite. I'm like, motherfucker, how did you see that?
You're meant to be. I've been on this planet for like two and a half decades longer than you.
Well, Elliot beat me at a video game the other day. And he's
what?
And he goes, do you know why I beat you? Because you're old. I'm like, oh, thanks, mate. Jesus. It's happened.
Wow.
But then we get Brockman introducing the bake-off. Meanwhile, Bart is at school showing off his new Hefner look. And everyone's sort of like, oh, what's all this about? And he invites everyone to a sip and quip at his Playdude Treehouse this Saturday. Be there or be square. I want to be a triangle. Yeah, you're not invited.
Poor old Ralph. But he would spoil the mood.
He would, yes. Marge is now cooking. And she says, it's weird that you got no tipsy father behind me, grabbed me from behind. I'm like, I'm not usually tipsy because I very rarely drink. But when Nicola's cooking, I don't think she's ever cooked a meal without me squeezing her bum, at least once.
I've been known to get a little handsy when,
You have to do it. They're cooking your food and you're like, I love you even more now. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
Later on, I'll do the dishes.
And then play your cards right now. Clean those plates.
I'm just reminded of. Have you ever seen The Big Lebowski?
Of course, yes. I'm not that much of an idiot.
I'm just reminded of that bit where they're watching the porno movie.
Oh yeah.
He goes, you won't believe what happens next. He fixes the cable. So that just reminded me of that for some reason.
Oh man. What a great soundtrack, by the way. Big Lebowski.
Fantastic. Oh, yeah. I had no idea that I just checked in to see what condition my condition was in. I had no idea that was Kenny Rogers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, wait.
As in, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Yeah, I the gambler. I know who Kenny Rogers is. Yeah,
of course, but you know.
But so he invites him to sip and quip, doesn't invite Ralph. Oh yeah, so she's gonna get squeezed from behind from Homer. But then we get Billy. Is it
Bullion?
Billy Bullion, the cube mascot. Don't look at my human eyes. I really enjoyed that. It would be awkward if you're a mascot at the theme park, people looking straight at your eyes.
It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I always find it awkward when I'm talking to them. Not when I'm talking to them, when I'm with them. Like, do you look at the mouth? Do you look at the eyes? What do you look at? Because it's weird.
I'd look at the eyes. Yeah, they're trying to remain in character.
Buy into it, I guess.
Let them look at you. You don't look at them.
Yeah. Then the host Stuart makes fun of Marge's tasty fake, and I was like, "Go away, Stuart! You meanie! You big old meanie, bobini!" We're now at the Playdude party, and that's the only negative. Not none of it a negative, but the thing that sort of took me out of the moment of this episode. Bart was just inviting the kids, right? So we had the introduction to the bake-off. The bake-off has started. The next scene, Bart's at school saying, come to my sip and quip this Saturday. Next scene, Marge is at the bake-off. Next scene is the party. What, was she just there for days? How have we gone from at school to already at the sip and quip when the bake-off is still the same day?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're going to have to hit up our friend Matt when he's on the show.
Our dear friend Matt Salmon. I feel like now, because we do the South Park podcast, I want to do our dear friend, Matt Salmon. I have to do fucking Trey Parker's news reporter voice.
Hey, buddy. We've got Matt Salmon here.
Hey, buddy.
That's your buddy, guy.
What a wonderful audience.
We've got to stop this show from just turning into catchphrase central.
Marge, where were we up to?
We're up to the sip and quip.
The sip and quip, yeah. The Playdude party, the Playdude Treehouse. And we've got James Caan hogging the grotto. I love his Charlie Callis story. Yeah.
Choke it up, peanut.
I'll punch in the gut, he was fine. And then he goes to play some backgammon with Mrs. K, and I was like, whoa.
Well,
Raunchy.
it's great car. Look, anytime you get to have the late great James Caan in anything, you put him in it.
And he sounded like he was having a great time as well.
Yeah, but this was very apt because during the 70s, apparently Mr. Caan moved into the Playboy Mansion.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was bouncing back from a bad divorce, and it's like, I think I just want to have fun for a while, so he moved into the Playboy Mansion.
Didn't Jack Nicholson have like a secret passageway there underground or something?
I wouldn't put it past him.
When do you think of like the ultimate Playboy? It's Jack Nicholson, right?
I'd say so, although I think Jimmy Caan might give him a run for his money.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that line in the first Iron Man where, the soldier says, Mr. Stark, can I ask you a question? I heard that you went 12 for 12 with this year's, all the Maxim cover models. He goes, well, 13 because, January was twins. But apparently that was James Caan with like Playboy Playmates.
Oh, okay.
I can't vouch for the rest of that story.
I heard it, I don't know, I heard it in a movie or whether it happened in real life.
That's true. But apparently James Caan and the Playboy Mansion were not unfamiliar to each other. So this was a nice sort of shout out in that regard.
I just enjoyed seeing Mrs. K be Mrs. K again, which is like,
Oh,
he's going to win. I was like, whoo, whoo.
And just that great line. Some guys like a challenge. I don't.
Yeah, not me.
Not me. And yeah, our pal Mr. Caan, our friend James Caan, is no longer with us. Passed away a couple of weeks ago at the age of 82, I believe.
I'm not too sure the age, but yeah.
Man lived a life. What a life. What a lord.
Yep. And for millennials, he will always be Buddy the Elf's father in Elf.
Buddy's dad in Elf.
I'm glad that James Caan gave a generation of kids a film as well.
Correct.
Because he was known for being like the ruthless guy, the tough guy.
Yeah.
And he's still playing a tough guy in Alf, but he comes around by the end. It's just nice that he's got like Robin Williams has the genie and things like that. Like I think it's important that every actor has a film for their kids. But anyway, so we're now at the Bake Off, and we get the Auntie Oven Fresh from 1954 saying ribbons and trophies are no comfort on your deathbed. And then Luigi starts scaling his fish onto Marge's food. Agnes throws her hair into Marge's mixing bowl. They're all sabotaging her.
You're weak.
Yeah, weak. It's just they're just horrible, horrible people taking advantage of Marge's kindness. Then the parents all arrive at the Simpsons house to complain about Bart, informing their kids about adult themes and unabashed dictionaries and the lesser short fiction of John Cheever.
That's
as well as the octopus and the bagpipe gag.
I love that Homer cracks up. Get busy with the bagpipe.
Yeah. But it's one of those gags. It's just like it's always funny.
Pretty.
Just trying to visualize it.
Yeah. What did Clancy say Ralph wanted? Ralph wanted
he wants to go on the pill.
That's right.
Marge is still getting sabotage, and she says, "Don't worry, I can still. If I can feed a family of 5 on $12 per week, then I can do this."
Well, that's right. Didn't Stuart spill all his hot bananas all over?
Everyone's just fucking her over. Yeah,
but Stuart fucked himself up.
Yeah, true. Yep, he sure did.
Yeah.
But baking time is over. They need to get into the judging room before the metal door hits the floor. Marge gets in. How great was the visual gag here of Agnes? The shape of Agnes hitting the door. She didn't get in time. And Marge decides to use the baby E medicine to sabotage their food because she thinks no one else is around. But Lisa is watching through the keyhole. Even just like having the gag of the wet paint. Like
that was good.
It wasn't necessary, but it added to the scene.
As we've said, I mean, something we like about the Best Simpsons episode is they never let anything go to waste.
Huh.
It's like, we got an opportunity to just throw another quick gag in here. Let's do that.
It could have ended with the plot twist. No, it ended with a gag, and I like that. Yeah, the paint on Lisa's eye.
Yes.
We come back, and Homer is asking if Marge is winning, and Lisa's like, yeah, she's going to win, but she's going to lose her soul. But she's winning, right? Yes, and losing her soul, but she's going to win. Yes. Woohoo! Because he thinks as long as she wins, then he gets to meet all the famous food personalities.
Look, it's that kind of gag where it's like, it's the frozen yogurt, cursed frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a great format, and used well, it works a treat, and I think it worked pretty well this time around.
Yeah.
But yes, let's cut to
Killing Twinkle the Kid.
favorite food mascots. He was my world.
Blood for cream.
Cream.
And don't you always appreciate when they come back and Homer's chanting what he's thinking?
Was that one of my... What was I was listening to some other show the other day. I know, sorry. And someone, they played The Legend of the Dog-Faced Woman.
I was going to say, but is that some of those gags?
Yeah. And I just did a little giddy dance. I was like, did a little Snoopy dance. I was so happy to hear it again.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we just reviewed... actually, I don't think I mentioned this one. We reviewed... what's the episode called?
Selma's Choice.
Selma's Choice. That's what Selma's Choice, yes. Which has one of the greatest endings of all time with her singing You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Yeah, we just reviewed that for Gaia on Springfield. Available exclusively on Patreon. You can find that on our Patreon page, including all the other revisited classic episodes on there as well as other bunch of exclusive podcasts, including the Tales of Futurama and much, much more. But anyway, enough
So
chilling.
maybe consider being a patron.
Yeah, support the show and get we live to give. So you give and we give a little bit more back in return. Marge and Brandine are down to the final two because they're the only ones who didn't make them vomit, and Marge didn't sabotage Brandine's because she thought it was garbage. Just because it was cooked in a garbage can doesn't make it garbage. Bart and Milhouse are still reading the Playdudes. They're still not understanding the gags, but they know it's meant to be for adults, so they're just pretending like they understand what's going on. And then Homer comes to discuss something with Bart, so he tells Milton to go home.
Oh, Millhouse.
Yeah, and your father's no house. Really good. I like it. Homer then tells the birds and the bees to Bart, and as we were saying earlier, he runs off and tells all the other kids, just spreads like wildfire. Yeah, better he hears it from me now than from his parents when they're old enough. Lisa then calls out Marge for cheating during the final. Well, actually, it's not quite the final yet. She says, you're the only person I have left to look up to. Because, I'm not going to look up to Dad. And Marge explains here that she needs this to feel like she's worth something. And I was like, I get this.
Yeah.
Marge doesn't get much. And they were sabotaging her. She's like, fuck them. I'm fighting back for a change.
No, look, I was initially all like, yeah, Marge, sabotage those bastards. Go to hell.
Do it. Go for it.
And I love the line in here about people knowing her as something other than the wife of a guy who doesn't go to work. Because
breaking the fourth wall.
We've called that out a few times about, does this guy still have a job? What's going on?
Does he still work? Yeah. We're now at the grand final, and Marge is about to cheat again, but then she gets Lisa's card, and I look up to you because you let me down. That's clever and devastating. Marge comes clean. She says, "No, stop the contest. I can't accept this because I cheated." And I like Mo here. Continuing the Mo gag.
Yeah.
Oh, we're both going to hell. That's when I'm going to make my move. And Brandine wins with her alcohol. And Homer then says here, and this was actually quite controversial, this line here, apparently. So Homer says, "You're still the best chef in the house." And Marge says BFD, which means big fucking deal.
Correct.
When it originally aired, they actually censored out the F. Yeah. It was like, that's very ribald.
So they cut out their own erotic nudes,
Yes.
you might say.
Yes, there you go. And so that apparently was a big deal in the UK as well. You had to cut out a lot of the things that Bart and Milhouse were talking about in the UK airing because they aired at 6 o'clock and they couldn't have kids hearing that kind of stuff. I'm like, was it really? Like, I mean, they're saying the word orgies, but I guess if they're watching it, they can then go to their parents and say, "What's an orgy?" But if you're a parent, you can just say, "I don't know." I don't know.
I literally don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise they're sort of like mildly ribald stuff like
Getting some.
Some guys like canned, but some people like to squeeze their own tomatoes.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. It's innocent.
It's dumbass sophisticated humor.
Brandine is now Auntie Oven Fresh. She's on all the packets, and she's left Cletus for James Caan, and we get a little Godfather parody once again.
Indeed, yes, they shot Sonny on the causeway to quote Robert Duvall in the original Godfather. Look how they massacred my boy.
That's it. Next time I fly. I thought it was a really good appearance from James Caan.
It was good. Yeah, and our timing is good too, given that Mr. Caan recently passed away.
Yes. So I just thought overall this was a really, really fun episode.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. there was so much to enjoy in this.
Yeah, we're off to a flying start with season 16.
Yeah.
Things are only going to get better from here.
I tried 3 different reviews of this, and they were all scathing, and I was like, nah, I won't have it.
No. I won't have it.
All right, yes. So what did you learn from the episode, Mr. Davis?
That even without the erotic nudes, Playdude still has much to teach a man.
It does, especially I learned that always carry one around when dealing with stewardesses on an air flight.
Everybody wants a layover.
As long as the lovely Louise and Nicola aren't around, right?
Correct.
Oh, we're lying. We would never do that. We would never do that.
Never do it. What are you even talking about?
All right, it is now time for the Guy Davis New Name Championship, round 2 of the championship for season 16. The current leaderboard, after the first episode, which was Treehouse of Horror 15, saw the leaderboard stand at this. In third position, we had Philip Hawkins on 1 point. In second position, we had Fergus Jeffs on 2 points. And in first position, we had Brian Hughes on 3 points. All right. Take it away, Mr. Davis.
All right, 1 point goes to the cook and the hef.
The cook and the hef. I like it. That is from our man, Philip J. Hawkins, which puts him on now 2 points.
Ooh, nice one, Philip J. 2 points go to Baking Bad.
Oh, that's great. Well done. That's speaking of Breaking Bad, the actual show Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. I forgot that it returned. So I've got like 4 episodes to watch now. So happy.
I've got Caesars to watch. I'm so far behind on Better Call Saul. I feel bad about that.
Great show. Make sure you do it. Yep. So that goes to our dear friend, Adam Vergona, who has not been on the leaderboard so far this year. So well done, Adam Vergona.
Al Vergona.
2 points. Right. And the 3 points goes to who?
3 points go to whoever gave us Don't Go Bacon My Heart.
Oh, how good's that? Don't go back in my heart.
It's pretty neat. And, it's got baking, and it's also got Don't Go Breaking My Heart, which, Marge
Lisa
doesn't want to do
Marge,
to Lisa. It's good stuff.
It's awesome. And that comes from, they're back. They are back. D.L. Gorman.
D.L. Gorman.
With the 3 points. Swish. All right, so leaderboard.
I was about to say, nothing but net.
Yeah, we don't have a third position because we've got a 3-way tie for second. So Fergus Jeffs, Philip Hawkins, and Adam Vergona all on 2 points in second position. And we have Brian Hughes and D.L. Gorman both on 3 points, equal tied for first.
Nice.
Don't forget, guys, if you want to be a part of the Guy Davis New Name Championship, just got to be a patron. And you don't even have to win it to win the cash prize. We also have a wildcard draw at the end of the season. So if you get your name on the leaderboard for any points, if you get read out at all throughout the season, you will go into the wildcard draw at the end if you don't win, and potentially win a prize as well. But Mr. Davis, should we get into the mailbag or should we get into the My 2 cents? I think I want to get into the My 2 cents.
Let's do some My 2 cents.
All right. Okay, Mr. Davis. All right. Thank you, Kent, for that little intro there. So it's back. The My 2 cents story here on Four Finger Discount. I'm excited. Guy Davis, tell us when were you a tight ass?
I was actually a tight ass this afternoon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We are recording this. It is currently 7:26 p.m. on Tuesday, the 26th of July. And I was out doing a little bit of shopping this afternoon. Because I'm a little bit of a tight ass, I will look and see, okay, this is on special at this supermarket, this is on special at the other supermarket. So I'll do a little bit of a circuit.
Yep.
And, try to save as many pennies as possible. Now, normally I don't like to go through the self-checkout. I like to patronize the people behind the checkout.
Keep them in a job.
Keep them in a job, essentially. But this time I went through the self-serve. And
sometimes it's just like you look at it and go, I just can't be fucked.
Can't be asked. The queue was a bit long. I'm like, let's just get this done.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, but on this particular, and your price comes up, and it will tell you if you've bought something on special.
Yep.
And I'm looking up. I don't have a lot of items, but I've got a few, and I'm looking as I go down. It's like each one of these is a special. I wonder if I'm going to get an unbroken run this time around. Special. 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 Got to the very end. Special. I'm like, a full house.
I'm the smartest man alive.
Beware the great white bargain hunter. Yeah. So, look, it's not much of a tight-ass story, but I must admit I was pretty happy that I managed to save myself a few cents but with a full roster of specials. Didn't pay full price for anything today at this one particular supermarket.
I love it, like to get people who drive like an extra 10 minutes to go to a supermarket that has something that's like 30 cents cheaper. It's like
True.
The money you spend on fuel to get there.
That is correct.
All right, so that is the first rendition of My 2 Cent Story, returning here on 4-Finger Discount. If you've got a tight ass story, we would love to hear it. Send them to simpsonsmailbag@gmail.com, or if you have any other questions for us, you can send them through to us there as well. Speaking of questions, I think it's time for some mailbag.
Yeah.
All right, first question for the All's Fair in Oven War mailbag comes from the one and only Jack McFarlane. Jake McFarlane, should I say. Jake McFarlane, not Jack McFarlane.
That's the one and only.
Just Jack.
Yeah. The one and only Jack. I mean, Jake.
So Jake says, have you ever cheated to win a competition or cheating to win anything? Have you ever cheated to win something? I'm pretty sure I've written like cheat notes on my hand that I wasn't supposed to, things like that. Everyone does that at school. But ever properly cheated? I've cheated. I can't remember. Have you? You don't come across like a cheat. You come across like someone that would like the idea of cheating, but you couldn't go through with it.
Yeah, partially because I'm a coward, and partially because I think I've got too big an ego. I'll be like, yes, I won, but at what cost?
I've lost my soul.
Yeah, or it's like, I didn't bring my A game. If I brought my A game.
You're standing there. Don't do it, guy. Think of the children. Do it, yes. Don't listen to that dweeb. Do it, Davis. Next question, Andrew JP. What's your favourite reality TV / cooking show? Oh, you can't go past Ready Steady Cook back in the day, right?
Clearly not.
Huey's Cooking Adventures.
He just jumped right into that.
Fat Huey, you remember him?
Oh, yeah, Ian Hewitson.
And who was the guy, and I only learned about him recently because a guy, my old friend Luke at Pop Culture, he showed me, he was kind of like the Don Burke of cooking from like the 80s. And he has a highlight reel where he keeps swearing, like bloopers. Like who was like the famous Australian cooking guy of like the 80s?
I'm trying to remember from the 80s.
He's got like the John Lithgow hair. He's got a big beard.
Oh, man. That's a really good question. I mean,
I'm going to Google it now because he has like
I'm thinking of Don Burke because that's who Don Burke kind of looked like.
Yeah, he has a really dirty mouth though. It's worth checking out. Hang on. Australian.
So did Don Burke apparently.
Famous, cook.
Because I'm thinking of the French guys. Like, there was Jeff Jans wasn't French.
Graham Kerr, would have been him? No, not Graham Kerr. Let me have a look. I'll go with the images. Let's have a look. We've got to find this guy.
Not Gabriel Gatte. He was French.
Oh, here we go. This is the guy. That's the picture. I've got to click into it because it doesn't have his name in the title. Here we go. Scrolling down. Where are you? His name is Peter Russell Clark.
Oh, the cheese guy.
Oh, cheese guy. Was it just cheese? Well, I thought it was cooking. Sorry.
Oh, no. He was cooking, but he was the face of cheese.
Okay. Was it the face of Coon Cheese? Was that right?
Oh, just cheese in general. I think
cheese in general. Okay, yeah. Peter Russell Clark. Yeah. Check out Peter Russell Clark bloopers. Oh, my.
That's because he looks like a charming little gnome of a man.
Yeah.
He looks like a little hobbit.
Yeah. He's like bloopers are like, I won't say the word, but he's like, and you deep fry it till it's like a fucking burnt, and he says the C-bomb. It's like it's just like, you watch it and it's like, he is the epitome of 80s Australian.
I'm sure I've talked about this in the past, but one of the great things about, pre-internet times, my buddy Steve came across this. The TV networks would do this like end of year blooper reel. They outtakes.
Yeah, I've got every Channel 10 one from 1996 through to 2003 because they were in the mix with the Cheese TV tapes that I got that time.
Yeah, and again pre-internet, but Steve got hold of a VHS tape of like a couple of Channel 9 ones, and of course, this is before anyone could swear on TV at all. I mean, everything was sort of bleeped out or all that kind of stuff. So it was hilarious seeing like newsreaders or reporters or your actors on your favourite soap to say, oh, today in Nunawading there was a dreadful fire and guess what? They burnt the fucking place to the ground.
Yeah.
And they'd also sort of slip out of newsreader voice as well. You just sort of hear, they attempted to rob the bank and then they got fucking shot.
I've got footage. I won't say her full name, but a very famous TV Australian personality from Channel 10 discussing taking things in the bum.
Oh.
I was like, oh, totally wild, lady. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Anyway, so
what was the question?
Couple more questions. Let's get away from that. Couple more questions here in the mailbag and we'll wrap this up. David Mott says, what's your favourite dessert? You're a big apple pie guy, right?
Well, for Macca's, yeah. But I'll tell you what the best pie is, dessert pie, banoffee pie.
Oh, you've mentioned this, yeah.
Yeah, banoffee. It's bananas and toffee
I love
in pie form.
Black Forest cherry cake. I'm a big fan.
Oh, yeah. Bit of Black Forest gatto.
Oh, yes. All right, final question. Pete Anderson. But my favourite dessert of all time is profiteroles. Profiteroles with custard inside. That's good dessert. Pete Anderson. Final question. Did your parents ever have the talk with you? And if so, was it as horrifying, embarrassing as it's often portrayed on TV? And if it was, why?
You go ahead.
I can remember just learning about it at school, and then Mum sort of like cause I was like, "That can't be right, Mum. Is that did they put the ding-a-ling in the thingy-majog?" And then Mum's like, "Yeah, they do." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
I
intense.
never got the birds and the bees talk.
I never got like sat down and was like, all right, it's time for the talk. I remember just learned it in like sex education at school. I still remember asking the question. I don't know why this stuck with me, but I remember saying, they're talking about, sex and things like that. I was like grade 5. And I remember the woman said, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, "What does it feel like inside there?" I remember she said, "It feels like when you put pushing your finger down on your tongue." And I was like, okay. And then you do it now and you're like, yep, she nailed it. I was like, that's right.
Well played, that teacher.
Yeah.
Imagine they said, "Feels like warm apple pie."
Yeah. But she was just like, yeah, push down your tongue. And I was like, okay then.
All right then.
I will be prepared.
Thanks for the tip. Here's the thing. I have 4 sisters, all a bit old, all older than me. And of course, growing up in the 70s, there were lots of issues of Clio and Cosmopolitan around the house. So I did I sort of doing my own research.
Penis is too big. Does it make me a bad person?
And I was walking around saying, "Not so far." But I remember doing a lot of reading about various things. Okay. But sort of piecing together my own sex education that way.
And yes, okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, you get your... the ongoing disinformation campaign that is the teenage years of high school.
Yes. The playground chatter.
It puts Vladimir Putin to shame, the disinformation that you get in high school.
And there's always that one guy who does it first, and you're like, "What was it like? What'd you do? How was it?" And like, it was great. Yeah, she loved it. She loved it. Like, did she?
Did she really?
Yeah.
But no, I never had the talk from my folks.
Nah, neither did I. I can't imagine Bobby having that chat with you.
I'm wondering if I should tell this story.
Well, tell the story. Tell the story, and if you don't want me to, leave it in. I'll take it out.
As I said, never had the talk.
Yeah.
And the late Bobby, God bless him, saint of a man, but not exactly forthcoming on emotional issues or this kind of thing.
This isn't the sauna story, is it?
No.
Okay.
Taught me a lot. Taught me a great deal. But when it came to sex, all that kind of stuff, no. Now, I was about to go to boarding school. And I think a couple of days before boarding school, I think he was worded up.
You're how old at this point?
I was 14.
Okay.
I think he was worded up by Margaret, by my mother Margaret. So, give him a few lessons. Tell him about how boys operate, all this kind of business. The main thing I remember, he said, don't do any stupid stuff like measuring your penis or something.
Yeah. And don't get turkey slapped.
And don't, well...
Too late.
Sorry about that. But yeah, I do remember him saying that. I'm like, I won't. Of course I did at some stage. But it's like, I think he must have mustered up a lot of courage to do that. So props to the old man. Props to Bob.
Don't measure the penis.
Yeah. I think he knew that I knew sort of enough.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't really. But
so like that took a lot for him to say.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So utmost respect for that.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone in this town respects the one Bobby Davis.
But me especially for that penis story.
Yes. All right, so that is our mailbag for All's Fair in Oven War. That's our review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. The next episode of 4 Figure Discount is going to be reviewing an episode titled Sleeping with the Enemy. Ooh, sounds intriguing. I don't know what that episode is, but I'm looking forward to reviewing it, and hopefully it lives up to the standards set by our dear friend, Matt Salmon. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoy everything we do, get 4-figure discount. You can support the show by becoming a patron, and you get access to a bunch of exclusive podcasts, including our Futurama, Tales of Futurama podcast, early access to all the other shows we do here, including this one, as well as access to the Facebook group. We also have a Discord as well for patrons. We're going to be opening up to everyone soon. Just got to get the ball rolling, get my head around it all first. But there's going to be a 4-figure discount Discord coming as well. And you just get access to Zoom chats with Guy and myself, and prize draws, and much, much more. Also, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you do find this podcast. We do appreciate everyone who takes the time to do so. And if you have a question for us, simpsonsmailbag@gmail.com. Mr. Davis, this has been All's Fair and Othermore. Next week, Sleeping with the Enemy. But for now, any final words for those amazing listeners?
See you back here this time next week for a little sip and quip.